What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Now it's time for the special edition of Dynamite as AEW holds its second annual Winter is Coming event featuring an AEW World Championship match between Hangman Adam Page and Bryan Danielson. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Dynamite as well as the insane pay Kevin Owens is getting. WWE is interested in a top AEW star. We now know why Vince hates tag teams. Has Hook become more popular than CM Punk, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists, and also check us out on TikTok. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, a sensational 60-minute match. Amazing, stupendous, suspenseful. These are just some of the accolades the 60-minute draw between AEW World Champion Page and Bryan Danielson received from the fans. The much anticipated bout was an instant classic and featured the wrestling style that distinguishes AEW from WWE. The very fact that AEW gave the match 60 minutes was notable, as fans rarely see 60-minute matches anymore, let alone on free television. This was a sensational showcase of AEW's product, and while 60-minute Broadways may not be for everyone, the match was a reminder of how exciting they can be, and there's still a place for them in wrestling. Number 2, the House always wins. Last night's vignette featuring Malachi Black inducting a new member of the House of Black was fantastic. Oh yeah, there's more on the mystery man or woman in our news, but another reminder of Malachi Black's creative genius and the freedom AEW has given him in building up his character into a fearsome force of evil. Black has been presented perfectly in AEW, with everything being on point, whether it's magical mystique surrounding his character or his booking. 2022 looks to be the year Black becomes a main eventer, and with any luck, anyone associated with him will get the rub. Number 3, categorical chemistry. A major props to Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb for putting on a fantastic match last night, especially since they had major competition from the 60-minute classic between Page and Danielson. What really stood out about last night's match was the incomparable chemistry between the two. Shida and Deeb's ability to work so well together can't be learned, and this program could have been the start of a lifelong rivalry akin to Steamboat vs Flair, Triple H vs Orton, and Roman Reigns vs Brock Lesnar. Number 4, Undisputed Era member debuting next week. Is Adam Cole bringing in another member of his NXT faction, the Undisputed Era, to AEW? Well, some fans are starting to think so after Cole mentioned delivering a Christmas gift to the Young Bucks next week. Kyle O'Reilly, who's now a free agent, could join Bobby Fish and Cole, as Cole and the Bucks face best friends on the Christmas episode of Rampage. Number 5, Ryback is relevant. Congratulations to MJF for making former WWE superstar and chronic complainer Ryback relevant again. MJF's hilarious promo on CM Punk featured the Salt of the Earth comparing CM Punk's AEW win streak to that of Ryback. Ouch. Ryback even began trending on social media, and it didn't take long for the big guy to address MJF's comments as he tweeted an image from Punk's less than stellar MMA career. Thanks for the shout out, MJF. Now you have your big chance at being an enhancement talent working with an underwhelming opponent. Ooh. The Ryback reference may have been the funniest thing to happen to Ryback since he posted a poll on Twitter asking fans where he should go next, and a significant number of fans voted that, well, he should retire. But that was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, a troubling trope. As fantastic as the Page vs Danielson match was, AEW needs to stop with the trope of championship matches on TV ending in draws. Like any finish, the time limit draw has its place in wrestling, but it's one that should rarely show up or it becomes predictable. Bryan Danielson went to a 30-minute time limit draw with Kenny Omega not too long ago, and after last night's draw, fans will be skeptical about seeing the AEW World Championship change hands when it airs on free television. And number 2, what Owen Hart Cup? The second annual Winter is Coming special featured some fantastic matches and segments, but what happened to the announcement about the Owen Hart Cup? AEW was supposed to make a major announcement about the long-awaited tournament, but they had nothing to go on. AEW is usually spot on when it comes to promising things and delivering, but the lack of specifics on the cup was a bit of a letdown. Now, there was nothing downright ugly about last night's Winter is Coming special, as AEW made the gutsy move of airing a 60-minute time limit draw on television and counting on Bryan Danielson and Adam Page to deliver the in-ring and keep fans tuned in. The rest of the show featured more build-up for MJF vs CM Punk, a devilish development in Malachi's mysterious plans for the House of Black, and MJF winning the Diamond Dynamite ring for the 3rd year in a row. What did you guys think of Dynamite last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Kevin Owens' insane pay. Atop in the news today is a report from the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer on just how much money Kevin Owens is getting for re-upping with the WWE. As reported yesterday, KO decided to stay in Titanland, and according to Meltzer, the WWE definitely backed the Brinks truck up to keep him. During a Wrestling Observer radio, Meltzer observed Owens has signed a 3-year deal with WWE. Actually, I believed it was a couple of weeks ago when this happened. I'm sure there'll be more tomorrow on it, but it's a very good money deal. I think the feeling is that there was a better deal than he could get in AEW. It's in the 2 to 3 million, in that range. Ringside News' Michael Perry pointed out that Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns are believed to get roughly $5 million a year, so while Owens isn't at the top of the money pile, he's definitely done well for himself. Next up, WWE wants AEW main eventer. As the huge news on AEW's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, as the talented talker and wrestler's recent feud with CM Punk have reportedly made him the talk of Fox and US executives so much that he's in high demand when his AEW contract ends in 2024. The McMahon Wrestling podcast Andrew Zarian discussed the situation, saying, "An individual at one of those networks who has been a very reliable source told me I actually stopped what I was doing and listened to him. I don't think I've done that with pro wrestling in a long time." Zarian reiterated remarks he recently made on YouTube explaining, "As I said last night, WWE is very interested in him. When I reached out to a source within WWE, they mentioned that the same conversations the networks have happened within the company regarding MJF in the past. He's everything we would want. It really depends on if he could be that same person on WWE television, they said. We want new stars to be the focus within the next few years. That's the plan." There's little doubt that MJF has quickly become one of wrestling's most exciting performers, and it seems inevitable that he'll become AEW World Champion. But by the time his AEW contract ends, he may feel he's done all he can there and opt for a run in WWE. The biggest question then, besides how much the WWE will pony up to sign him, is whether they'll give him the freedom to get over on the microphone like he does in AEW. What do you guys think? Should MJF go to WWE? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, why Vince McMahon hates tag teams. WWE fans have noticed that Vince McMahon seems to have a thing against tag teams, as he frequently breaks them up and treats them like sideshow attractions at best and jobbers to the stars at worst. However, what's the real reason behind his malevolent mood towards tag teams? Well, on a recent episode of former WWE writer Freddie Prinze Jr.'s WWF 3D Wrestling with Freddie podcast, he confirmed what fans have heard from the other two individuals who worked in the WWE. He revealed, "Freddie, I gotta pay 4 guys for one effing match." Now this is backed up from similar comments made from Arn Anderson and Charlie Haas, so now you know it's all about the money whenever Vince McMahon busts up your latest favourite tag team. Next up, has the newest member of House of Black been revealed? Our fans are wondering who the mysterious member of House of Black might be, but in an exclusive report from Bodyslam.net, they may already have everything fans need to know to solve the mystery. They reported, "I spoke with multiple sources and confirmed that Brody King has signed with All Elite Wrestling. When I asked about King signing, one source told me that he was told on Thanksgiving weekend it was a done deal and that he's believed that the signing happened almost immediately following the Ring of Honor news." Now the clue many fans are pointing to is when Black told a person during the segment, "Now you're so much more than a king," it's definitely got to be Brody King. Next up, MJF and Dax Harwood throw out an intruder. Now one never knows what role you might have to take in pro wrestling, whether it's becoming a new persona or switching from a competitor to a manager. However, how about wrestlers becoming bouncers? Well, that's apparently what happened recently when MJF and FTR's Dax Harwood were called upon to eject a wayward intruder. Fightful Select is reporting that a man snuck into the locker room at AEW's recent show in Long Island pretending to be an extra for the show. They noted the individual sat in 2 different wrestlers' seats before he was asked what he was doing there and who trained him. He claimed that Jeff Hardy trained him, an immediate red flag since Hardy doesn't train wrestlers. MJF and Dax took care of the pesky intruder, taking him to an AEW official who recognized the fan had been kicked out of a previous show. And finally, is Hook more popular than CM Punk? And last but not least, 22-year-old second-generation star Hook made his debut on the 10th December edition of Rampage, impressing fans with his win over Fuego del Sol that he's apparently more popular than CM Punk. Well, as far as t-shirt sales go. As noted by Cultaholic, Ryan Barkin, the owner of Pro Wrestling Tees, noted on social media that Hook had topped this week's Pro Wrestling Tees weekly sales list, becoming the first shirt to overtake CM Punk since the Second City Saint Savior made his return to wrestling in August. We gotta congratulate the son of Taz on his debut and merchandise success. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.